Hare Krishna. Could you please put up Ujjvala Varna? This song, written by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, is about the beautiful form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his pastimes. By remembering Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, difficult things become easy. And when one forgets Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then even the easiest things become difficult. How is this possible? Throughout the Śrī Caitanya-Caritāmṛta and the Śrī Caitanya Bhagavat, the authors explain the miraculous potencies of the Supreme Lord. Not only is he the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he's infused with the qualities of Srimati Radharani, extreme compassion, which means, as Kaviraj Goswami says, his mercy comes to those who remember him automatically. So let us pray to Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu to always remember him in our minds, in our speech, and to continually serve him with nishta, steadiness throughout this lifetime. Ujjvala Varna Gauravara Deham Vilasita Niravadi Bhava Videham. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Ujjvala Varna Gauravara Deham Vilasita Niravadi Bhava Videham. Pavana Kripaya Lesham Tam Pranamami Cha Śrī Caitanya. Good Antara Bhava Vikaram Durjana Tarjana Nada violin and be happy. Aranam Bharadara Charu Kapolam Indu Vinditan Kachaya Ruchiram. The flute. Chalpitan Chakuna Nama Vinodam Tam Pranamami Cha Caitanya. Go Premanande Jai Śrī Caitanya. Jatakati Dora Kamanalu Dandam Divyakali Varamunditam Durjana Kalmashakandan Dandam Tanamami Cha Śrī Caitanya Bhushana Buraja Lakavalitam Kambita Bindara Vararuchiram Jai Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai Malaya Javira Chitta Ujjvala Tilakam Tam Pranamami Cha Śrī Caitanya Ninditaruna Kamaladalannayanam Ajanulam Vitta Śrī Pujadugalam Kalevarakai Shoranartakavesham Tam Pranamami Cha Śrī Caitanya Ujjvala Varana Gauravadeha Nivasita Niravadi Bhava Videha Tribhuvana Pavana Kripaya Lesham Tam Pranamami Cha Śrī Caitanya Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Gaura Hari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gaur Premanande Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Nam Sarva Dharma Sam Jive Doya Krishna Nam Sarva Dharma Sam Hey Nadia Kudumanika Ganga Mahajan Nadia Kuduni Nityananda Mahajan Nadia Nagare Nitai Niche Niche Gaire Nadia Nagare Nitai Niche Niche Gaire Jaya Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Premanande Shri Harinam Prabhu Ki Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Shri Shri Gauri Tai Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Continuing with our reading of the Śrī Caitanya-Caritāmṛta. Bhavet kriya vidilan she ihakai kartavya avashya e anyata pratyavai. Here, the use of the verb bhavet, which is in the imperative mood, tells us that this certainly must be done. Non-compliance would be abandonment of duty. Purport. This is imperative. This imperative is applicable to pure devotees. Neophytes will be able to understand these affairs only after being elevated by regulated devotional service under the expert guidance of the spiritual master. Then they too will be competent to hear of the love affairs of Radha and Krishna. As long as one is in material conditioned life, strict discipline is required in the matter of moral and immoral activities. The absolute world is transcendental and free from such distinctions because there is inebriety. Because there inebriety is not possible. But in this material world, a sexual appetite necessitates distinction between moral and immoral conduct. There are no sexual activities in the spiritual world. The transactions between lover and beloved in the spiritual world are pure transcendental love and unadulterated bliss. One who has not been attracted by the transcendental beauty of rasa will certainly be dragged down into material attraction, thus to act in material contamination and progress to the darkest region of hellish life. But by understanding the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, one is freed from the grip of attraction to material so-called love between man and woman. Similarly, one who understands the pure parental love of Nanda and Yashoda for Krishna will be saved from being dragged into material parental affection. If one accepts Krishna as the supreme friend, the attraction of material friendship will be finished for him, and he will not be dismayed by so-called friendship with mundane wranglers. If he is attracted by servitorship to Krishna, he will no longer have to serve the material body in the degraded status of material existence, with the false hope of becoming master in the future. Similarly, one who sees the greatness of Krishna in neutrality will certainly never again seek the so-called relief of impersonalist or voidist philosophy. If one is not attracted by the transcendental nature of Krishna, one is sure to be attracted to material enjoyment. Thus, to become implicated in the clinging network of virtuous and sinful activities and to continue material existence by transmigrating from one body to another. Only in Krishna consciousness can one achieve the highest perfection of life. Evancha jaite Krishna pratyakartarana asura samhara asura samhara anusanga prayojana Imata Chaitanya Krishna Purna Bhagavan Juga Dharma Pravartana Nahe Tarakam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Just as these desires are the fundamental reason for Krishna's appearance, whereas destroying the demons is only an incidental necessity, so for Śrī Krishna Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, promulgating the Dharma of the age is incidental. Ona karani jabe hoila vatare mana juga dharma kalo hoila se kali milana. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Karane, by some reason, Jabe, when, Hoila, there was, Avatare, in incarnation, Mano, inclination, Juga Dharma, for the religion of the age, Kala, the time, Hoila, there was, Shekale, at that time, Milana, conjunction. When the Lord desired to appear for another reason, the time for promulgating the religion of the age also arose. Dui hetu avatare loy bhaktagan apane asvare prema nam sankirtan Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thus, with two intentions, the Lord appeared with his devotees and tasted the nectar of prema with the congregational chanting of the holy name. Shedware achandale kirtana sanchare nam prema male kanta pare la samsare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Thus he spread kirtan even among the untouchables. He wore a wreath of the holy name and prema with which he garlanded the entire world. Mato Bhakta Bhavakari Angikar Apani Achari Bhakta Kari Lapachar Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In this way, assuming the sentiment of a devotee, he preached devotional service while practicing it himself. When Rupa Goswami met Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu at Prayag, Allahabad, he offered his respectful obeisances by submitting that Lord Chaitanya was more magnanimous than any other avatara of Krishna because he was distributing love of Krishna. His mission was to enhance love of Godhead. In the human form of life, the highest achievement is to attain the platform of love of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya did not invent a system of religion, as people sometimes assume. Religious systems are meant to show the existence of God, who is then generally approached as the cosmic order supplier. But Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental mission is to distribute love of Godhead to everyone. Anyone who accepts God as the Supreme can take to the process of chanting Hare Krishna and become a lover of God. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is the most magnanimous. This munificent broadcasting of devotional service is possible only for Krishna himself. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has taught the philosophy of surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who has surrendered to the Supreme can make further progress by learning to love him. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement propagated by Lord Chaitanya is especially meant for those who are cognizant of the presence of the Supreme Godhead, the ultimate controller of everything. His mission is to teach people how to dovetail themselves into engagements of transcendental loving service. He is Krishna teaching his own service from the position of a devotee. The Lord's acceptance of the role of a devotee in the eternal form of Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is another of the Lord's wonderful features. A conditioned soul cannot reach the absolute personality of Godhead by his imperfect endeavor. And therefore, it is wonderful that Lord Sri Krishna, in the form of Lord Gauranga, has made it easy for everyone to approach him. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Swarup Damodara Goswami has described Lord Chaitanya as Krishna himself with the attitude of Radharani, or a combination of Radha and Krishna. The intention of Lord Chaitanya is to taste Krishna's sweetness in transcendental love. He does not care to think of himself as Krishna because he wants the position of Radharani. We should remember this. A class of so-called devotees called the Nadia Nagaris or Gaura Nagaris pretend that they have this sentiment of gopis toward Lord Chaitanya, but they do not realize that he placed himself not as the enjoyer of Krishna, but as the enjoyed, the devotee of Krishna. The concoctions of unauthorized persons pretending to be bona fide have not been accepted by Lord Chaitanya. Presentations such as those of the Gaura Nagaris are only disturbances to the sincere execution of the mission of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is undoubtedly Krishna himself, and he is always non-different from Srimati Radharani. But the emotion technically called Vipralambha Bhava, which the Lord adopted for confidential reasons, should not be disturbed in the name of service. A mundaner should not unnecessarily intrude into affairs of transcendence and thereby displease the Lord. One must always be on guard against this sort of devotional anomaly. A devotee is not meant to create disturbances to Krishna. as Srila Rupa Goswami has explained, devotional service is anakulyena, or favorable to Krishna. Acting unfavorably toward Krishna is not devotion. Kamsa was the enemy of Krishna. He always thought of Krishna, but he thought of him as an enemy. One should always avoid such unfavorable, so-called service. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya has accepted the role of Radharani, and we should support that position as Swarup Damodar did in the Kambhira, the room where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in Puri. He always reminded Lord Chaitanya of Radha's feelings of separation as they are described in Srimad Bhagavatam, and Lord Chaitanya appreciated his assistance. But the Gauda Nagaris who placed Lord Chaitanya in the position of enjoyer and themselves as his enjoyed are not approved by Lord Chaitanya or by Lord Chaitanya's followers. Instead of being blessed, the foolish imitators are left completely apart. Their concoctions are against the principles of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The doctrine of transcendental enjoyment by Krishna cannot be mixed up with the doctrine of transcendental feeling of separation from Krishna in the role of Radharani. Dasya Sakya Vatsalya Are Shringar Chari Prima Chaturvidha Bhakti Adara. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. 4 kinds of devotees are the receptacles of the 4 kinds of mellows in love of God, namely servitude, friendship, parental affection, and conjugal love. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nija Nija Bhava Shabe Shishta Kari Mane, Nija Bhave Kari Krishna Sukha Asvadhane. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Each kind of devotee feels that his sentiment is the most excellent, and thus, in that mood, he tastes great happiness with Lord Krishna. Tatastahaya mane vichar jari kari shabrash hoite shingaradi madhuri. Tatastahaya mane vichar yari kari shabrash hoite shingari adi madhuri. Adhika madhuri. Tatastahaya. Tatastahaya. Becoming impartial. Mane, the mind, in the mind. Vichara, consideration. Jadi, if. Kari, doing. Shab, ras. All the mellows. Hoite, then. Shringare, in conjugal love. Adhika, greater. Madhuri, sweetness. Tatashta ha'ija. Mane vichar jadi kare, shabrash hoite shingari adhika madhuri. But if we compare the sentiments in an impartial mood, we find that the conjugal sentiment is superior to all others in sweetness. Purport. No one is higher or lower than anyone else in transcendental relationships with the Lord, for in the absolute realm everything is equal. But although these relationships are absolute, there are also transcendental differences between them. Thus, the transcendental relationship of conjugal love is considered the highest perfection. Pre-Kishori.
Samaya
Increasing love is experienced in various tastes, one above another. But that love which has the highest taste in the gradual succession of desire manifests itself in the form of conjugal love. Purport. This is a verse from Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti-Rasamrita Sindhu 2.5-38. Śrī Vatsa.
Ataiva madhurrasa kahitaranam swakiya parakiya bhavid vividha samsthan. Sorry.
Moichido. One more time.
Ataiva madhurrasa kahitaranam swakiya parakiya bhavid vividha samsthan.
Therefore, I call it Madhura Ras. It has two further divisions, namely wedded and unwedded love. Again. No. Verse 47. Śrī Vatsa.
Parakiya bhavayati rasera ulasa vrajavinahi haranyata nahi vasa.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There is a great increase of mellow in the unwedded conjugal mood. Such love is found nowhere but in Vraj. Vrajavadu ganir e bhaveni ravati tarmate shri radhaya bhaviravadi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This mood is unbounded in the damsels of Vraja, but among them it finds its perfection in Sri Radha. Prodha nirmal bhava prema sarvottama Krishnera madhurya ras asvadara karana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Her pure, mature love surpasses that of all others. Her love is the cause of Lord Krishna's tasting the sweetness of the conjugal relationship. Ateva she bhava angikara kari sadhilya javancha gauranga shri hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Therefore, Lord Gauranga, who is Sri Hari himself, accepted the sentiments of Radha and thus fulfilled his own desires. Purport. Of the four kinds of reciprocation of loving service, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya, Madhura is considered the fullest. But the conjugal relationship is further divided into two varieties, namely Swakya and Parakya. Swakya is the relationship with Krishna as a formerly married husband, and Parakya is the relationship with Krishna as a paramour. Expert analysts have decided that the transcendental ecstasy of the Parakya mellow is better because it is more enthusiastic. This phase of conjugal love is found in those who have surrendered to the Lord in intense love, knowing well that such illicit love with a paramour is not morally approved in society. The risks involved in such love of Godhead make this emotion superior to the relationship in which such risk is not involved. The validity of such risk, however, is possible only in the transcendental realm. Swakya and Parakya conjugal love of Godhead have no existence in the material world, and Parakya is not exhibited anywhere in Vaikuntha, but only in the portion of Goloka Vrindavan known as Vraj. Some devotees think that Krishna is eternally the enjoyer in Goloka Vrindavan, but only sometimes comes to the platform of Raj to enjoy Parakiya Ras. The 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, however, have explained that Krishna's pastimes in Raj are eternal, like his other activities in Goloka Vrindavan. Vraj is a confidential part of Goloka Vrindavan. Krishna exhibited his Vraj pastimes on the surface of this world, and similar pastimes are eternally exhibited in Vraj in Goloka Vrindavan, where Parakiya Ras is ever existent. In the 3rd chapter of this epic, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has explicitly accepted the fact that Krishna appears in this material world at the end of the Dwapara age, of the 28th Chaturad Yuga of Vaivasvata Manu, and brings with him his Vrajadham, which is the eternal abode of his highest pastimes. As the Lord appears by his own internal potency, so he also brings all his paraphernalia by the same internal potency, without extraneous help. It is further stated here in the Caitanya-Caritāmṛta that the Parakiya sentiment exists only in that transcendental realm and nowhere else. This highest form of ecstasy can exist only in the most confidential part of the transcendental world. But by the causeless mercy of the Lord, we can have a peep into that invisible Raj. The transcendental mellow, relished by the gopis in Vraj, is super excellently featured in Srimati Radharani. Mature assimilation of the transcendental humor of conjugal love is represented by Srimati Radharani, whose feelings are incomprehensible even to the Lord himself. The intensity of her love, the intensity of her loving service, is the highest form of ecstasy. No one can surpass Srimati Radharani in relishing the qualities of the Lord through this supreme transcendental mellow. Therefore, the Lord himself agreed to assume the position of Radharani in the form of Lord Sri Gauranga. He then relished the highest position of Parakiya Ras, as exhibited in the transcendental abode of Vraja. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Everybody. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Nambajan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Jai Śrī Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaunitai Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Ji Ki Jai, Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsimhadev Ki Jai, Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Nitai namine che namirhate, Shraddha mulyanam dite chere. Nitai namine che namirhate, Shraddha mulyanam dite chere. Mulyanam dite chere. Dennis and Karina, Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining us all the way from Germany. So nice to see you here. You've written here in the question box about the statement from Srila Prabhupada you read at the end of Japa. What is meant with making a farce, and what is the difference between trying to reach this stage and making a farce? Well, it's a very subtle point, but be real and genuine. The word sincere comes from a word that means without wax. Because when marble came into fashion for buildings, the best marble was sold at the highest price, and the best marble had no cracks in it. But some unscrupulous merchants would take inferior marble and they'd fill it with colored wax so it looked like it was superior marble, and then they'd sell it at the high price. And when it got hot later on, the wax would come out and everyone could see that it was a farce. So the idea of sincerity is to practice at the level you're at now, to the best of your ability. Sve sve adhikariya nishta saguna parikirtita vipariyatu dosha sad ubariyo eva nishchaya. It's a fixed principle that you should act according to your adhikari to practice devotional service. Don't try to imitate others. Also, don't try to pretend to be more advanced than you are. There's a saying in Bengal that don't drink water underwater on a fast day. So everyone's fasting, and it can become a prestigious exhibition that, oh, I'm fasting, I'm very advanced. But then the person actually can't fast fully from water. So he goes to the river to take a bath, goes underneath the water and drinks water then, as he thinks nobody's watching me. This is a farce. So we have to, also in the context of where Prabhupada was speaking about this farce, to take up the practice but have no intention of actually following the rules and regulations, just going on willy-nilly doing what one wants, but then chanting Hare Krishna and pretending to be advanced. So one should be sincere and do the best one can, that one can. Sri Madhava Mahotsava Prabhu said, regarding the danger of concoctions, is the reading of esoteric literatures of the Goswamis, like, for example, Lalita Madhava, instead of trying to simply absorb Srila Prabhupada's books over the course of one's lifetime, a misunderstanding of Srila Prabhupada's mission. It seems that Srila Prabhupada and other acharyas were careful regarding recommending Paramahamsa books. Hi, can one achieve prema simply by chain reading Srila Prabhupada's books and serving Krishna based on their instructions, or is one expected to read Goswami books as well after a certain amount of practice? Yes, I like your idea of chain reading Srila Prabhupada's books and serving Krishna based on the instructions. It's a good proposal. It's true that the acharyas like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Srila Prabhupada were cautious about introducing topics that were not understandable to the level of the devotee at which he or she was practicing. Fact is, if you assimilate what Srila Prabhupada's given by going deeply within his books and chain reading them, you'll find that they're a lot deeper than you might have thought. And the endeavor to read them very deeply reveals this. Otherwise, one may think, oh, I'll try to read other things in order to become more advanced than everybody else. But first assimilate what Prabhupada's given. And you'll find that within the Caitanya-Caritāmṛta, for example, the esoteric teachings of rasa are also present in the Nectar of Devotion. If you read that again and again and get a foundational understanding of the science of rasa, and simultaneously go on serving and chanting and go through the process of anartha nivritti, come to the stage of nishta, being fixed in mind, and then ruchi, having a taste, asakti, which means you have no other consideration except Krishna consciousness. Your mind's fully attached. And bhava is a stage at which a ray of the internal energy appears within the heart, and the heart becomes soft, and there one begins to realize Krishna's nam, rup, guna, and lila within the heart, within one's own heart. So this is the recommended process, and Bhagavatam describes how by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, which we have, and all the other information that's giving us Sambandha Gyan, we're equipped for this. Sringara Ras Devi Dasi. My question is about Bhagavad Gita verse 17.5 about the austerity of speech. Lord Krishna gives us the guidelines for our speech. It should be truthful, pleasing, and beneficial. With our conditioned nature and false ego in our day-to-day life, how do we know about the truthfulness of our speech? Personally, for me, pleasing speech is a very big struggle, specifically with people who are close to me. When the urge to speak, especially in anger, is very strong at that time, it is very hard for me to have pleasing speech. Kindly guide me how to develop pleasing speech. You have to practice. That's why it's an austerity. The inclination isn't there, so it wouldn't be an austerity if you didn't have the inclination to speak angry words. So you have to be careful. It makes a difference what you say. When you voice something, it's creative. The words come out and they start to take a physical form and they have implications. Speaking matters. So Krishna is just asking you to amend your speech. Think about it before you speak. Truthful, pleasing. Conditioned nature, false ego, how do we know what truthfulness of our speech? Well, look within yourself before you speak. Oftentimes the mind becomes devious and says, oh, I know the truth, but I'll say something else. But just try saying the truth instead. I mean, we know what the truth is. If it's 6, say 6. If it's 6, don't say 8. And if somebody says, your spouse says, did you take that book off the stand? Like, no, I didn't do it. But you did. don't lie. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we at first we practice to deceive. It's very implicating lying. There's yamas and niyamas, do's and don'ts. There's also 10 commandments in the Old Testament. 5 yamas, 5 niyamas, 10. 10 commandments, Bible. Means you have to actually become a decent person before you can enter into deeper topics. Be connected with God. You have to be truthful. He's all truthful. So practice these things in your life. It's actually ecstatic. Having some guidelines to practice truthfulness, for instance, is really wonderful. It's exciting to notice the difference between what my tongue wants to say and what I should actually say. And then if you can get a victory and actually say the truth, then there isn't this cognitive dissonance that causes so much anxiety. That's why the yamas and niyamas are there, because if there's cognitive dissonance, could you look that up, please, Avantika? If there's cognitive dissonance, then it's very difficult to concentrate the mind. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bahushaka hinantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. So practice telling the truth. And when anger comes, do what your mother said. As if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. Didn't she say that? Listen to your mama. Where's our cognitive dissonance?
Cognitive dissonance means the state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as relating to behavioral decisions and attitude change.
Ooh, one more time.
Cognitive dissonance is the state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as relating to behavioral decisions and attitude change.
Yeah. So our speech should be aligned with the highest principles of Dharma. Tell the truth. Of course, there's a kind of cognitive dissonance when we tell the truth because the mind's saying, why'd you do that? Now we're going to be in trouble. But that's a better kind of cognitive dissonance. Chitralekha Saki, a question. A friend asked me how to chant good quality japa. She is physically handicapped and is always extremely tired and sleepy because of her deteriorating physical condition. She struggles to focus on her japa, and her mind is always distracted since her childhood. Please, how can I best help her? Well, one way that Krishna recommends becoming more attracted to the mantra is to study it. Hear about the potency of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And the more that one has that clear understanding, Siddhanta Bulya Chittanakara Alash Iha Hoite Krishna Lagi Sudrir Manash, the mind becomes more fixed and determined when you study the mantra and understand its potency. Everybody struggles with the mind because it's unruly, and it's been that way for many lifetimes, and yoga means to really control the mind. So it's a practice that everyone has to go through, have to really work at it. But the result is that if one can fix one's mind on Krishna, then naturally Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Jani Yashivairagyam Jnanam Charya. All the perspective and knowledge that one needs to advance in devotional service comes. But that there are various conditions of life that we're going to go through, sickness, health, And especially if it's chronic, it's very difficult, but the advice always is do the best you can with what you have now and try to regulate it. Find a period of time that at least you can do every day something. And from there, there's a possibility of advancing and getting more empowerment. So everyone should do the best they can and try to increase a little bit at a time if possible. Also, have good association. It's much easier to stay fixed if you can find some association. Like this morning when we chanted together, because we're all together in one place, no one thinks, oh, let me go off and do something else right now. It's like, hey, where'd you go? You stay here. Stay in association, and it's much easier to focus. But my heart goes out. I mean, it's very difficult when the body's not cooperating, obviously. And when we're in such a condition, it gives an opportunity for us to just find a space in time when we can actually do what we can and then try to increase it. Reflection from Anandamayi Radha Devi Dasi. I attended this session for the first time and I found this method of reading CC with Mridanga very innovative and attractive. Thank you. I would really like to continue attending. Please continue to attend. Thank you very much for being here. Vaikuntanayaka Prabhu, all the way from South India. This is follow-up question on your answer on sincerity. You cautioned against imitation and advised on doing the services as per our capacity. However, it is not possible to get into is it not possible to get into a complacent mood with this? My understanding is that only if we push ourselves beyond our capacity does our capacity grow and spiritual strength increases. So how do we have a balance between working as per our capacity and pushing ourselves beyond our comfort zone? Well, that's always, in any practice, we're fighting against complacency and plateaus. That's why there's this interesting word, niyamagraha, that has two meanings. One is, don't stop doing it, and the other one is, don't do it with complacency. That is... Krishna. Don't do it just for the sake of doing it, but make sure you're leaning into it. So if you find yourself on a plateau, then try to go deeper into the holy name or increase the amount that you're chanting, or both. And it also helps, again, to have good association. Because when you get around those who are moving at a faster rate, then we get carried along. We also see that, oh, I'm not going so fast. If you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room. Prem Sarovara. Is Lilamrita recommended as a mandatory reading as well to understand Prabhupada's life? What is the meaning of mandatory? Avantika, please. We'll check and see if it's mandatory. Give us the exact definition. I mean, the phraseology here, recommended as mandatory, seems a little contradictory, because if somebody's recommending I just recommend it, and on the other side, it's mandatory. I recommend that you make it mandatory. What does it mean? Avantika? Can't hear you. Somebody's got her muted.
You have to unmute, Avantika, because here everyone's allowed to unmute.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Mandatory means required by law or rules. Compulsory.
Animalji, please.
So it comes from late Latin mandatum, and then it became mandatarius, and then
But what do those words mean in Latin?
it doesn't say. Let me look.
You have to look in the etymological dictionary.
Okay.
Thank you. Mandate. Look up mandate. Click on mandate. The red mandate. A command, judicial or legal order, from Middle French mandat, and directly from Latin mandatum, commission, command, order. Mandare, to order, commit to one's charge. Man means hand, like manual. Is it mandatory? I think it's a good idea. I go more with the side that it's highly recommended than it's mandatory. I mean, if you'd like, we could make it mandatory. It's a good idea. Highly recommended. 2, are the residents of Nadia Nagari called Sahajyas? The Nagaris, not Nadia Nagari. Nagaris? Not residents. It's a class, it's a philosophy, a group of people, Nadia Nagaris, called Sahajyas because they practice Prakritya Sahajya, Parakya Ras, which is not recommended in the material world. No, this is what Prabhupada said. They treat Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as if he were Krishna, and they try to enter into this conjugal rasa with him. But he's here as one being enjoyed by Krishna. That's his mood, so it's a disturbance to his mood. Bhakta Amit, Hare Krishna. Could you provide some strategies we can adopt to converge our occupational duties work to Krishna consciousness? One strategy is that you tithe, give a portion of your income. When you work, if you give some money to something, a cause in Krishna consciousness that's helping to expand the movement, then that's a very potent way. A lot of religious groups do that, and Prabhupada recommended it for householders. And if you do that, then your mind will be more engaged in seeing how your work is connected. That's one way that's very helpful. You can also use your position as a doctor to get some kind of attention. In other words, if you have doctor in your title, you could also wear a white jacket and a stethoscope around your neck, and then do a video. Everyone will listen to what you have to say because you're a doctor. I mean, the fact is, if you're educated, you have some title, and you preach Krishna consciousness, you can use that, dovetail it, say, hi, I'm a doctor, and this is what I believe in. You can also use analogies from your work to illustrate the process of Krishna consciousness. For instance, I'm not really a gardener by any stretch of the term. At least I'm not very good at it, but the last few classes I gave in corporate, I used the gardening metaphor and tried to extend the metaphor, and people appreciate it. Use something that you're good at, that you know about, and then explain it, make a connection in Krishna consciousness so that you can educate people about the principles, and that can be very effective. Nice question. Shringara Ras. If I have permission, then I have a follow-up question about truthfulness. Due to our limitations with 4 defects, we may not necessarily be untruthful on purpose or intentionally. How do we handle that kind of untruthfulness? Well, read the Shastras and figure out what the truth is, and then try to conform to that. As in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about the basic principles of how we should think and how we should act and what the truth is. So you have to have some standard, and the standard is the Shastra. Aparagarangi, a question, can you elaborate how one's ashrama cannot be an impediment in attaining perfection in devotional service? I'm not sure I understand the question. Can you tell me what you mean, Aparagarangi?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept
Hare
my
Krishna.
respectful obeisances.
Indeed.
Maharaj, my question was that a lot of people think that because they're grihasthas, they cannot really become spiritual perfect, or they cannot do how much the brahmacharis or the sannyasis can do. But I just wanted you to elaborate how being grihastha ashram could not be an impediment in attaining perfection in devotional service.
One word, Nityananda. He was a grihastha. Nobody more elevated than him. He's the guru of everyone. So he's a grihastha. The ashramas are meant to accommodate people's psychophysiological nature at particular stages in their life that has really nothing to do with spiritual advancement. Otherwise, why would have Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu taken advice from Ramananda Roy or Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya for that matter? All of Mahaprabhu's associates were grihasthas, mostly they were grihasthas, Prabhupada points out. It's really an important ashram to learn in, because Krishna consciousness is applicable in all aspects of life. And when you're in the grihastha ashram, it's a great austerity to learn to cooperate, learn to manage your worldly affairs alongside Krishna consciousness. When you learn how to do that, you can also become realized. Vidyam cha yas tadvedo bayam saha. There's a way in which, when you can do the two side by side, you become very expert, and part of that expertise is based on the fact that you see how everything is engageable in Krishna service. Everything can be transformed. And as they say, your mate is your mirror. When we're able to cooperate in that ashram, you become very qualified for devotional service. So every ashrama has a particular advantage. And the purpose, Prabhupada explains in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, is to give everyone a normal condition of life. For some people, sannyas ashram is a very normal condition of life. They feel natural in that. Other people, they feel very unnatural. So they should be in the grihastha ashram and feel normal and well situated. Because from there, when you're normal, when your mind and body are in a normal condition, then you can fight Maya and be very effective. If you're out of balance from that from the position of your daily life, then how can you actually do anything effectively? So we can take example from Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu and all of his associates. They were in all different ashrams, but mostly the grihastha ashram, and they are all effective. And I've seen people who are in a brahmachari ashram who are dysfunctional, and they're in the brahmachari ashram because maybe they're antisocial. I mean, it's a great ashram. I spent 13 years in it, and I highly recommend everybody go in the brahmachari ashram for as long as possible. But I also have seen that can also be a place where people don't actually grow if they're not suited for it. So best to be where you're suited. The material condition externally has really nothing to do with your spiritual advancement. So we shouldn't conflate the two and think, because of the ashram, I'm more advanced than other people. If you think that, then you're not very advanced anyway. Did that help, Aparagarangi?
Yes, very much. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your nice question. And look it's Ankit for the last question here today. Krishna, being magnificent, awarded Putana the position of a mother, even though she had an inimical attitude towards Krishna. She didn't have any favorable attitude and didn't render devotional service under his spiritual master's guidance. Our reading pointed out that Spontaneous devotional service can be achieved by having a favorable attitude toward Krishna and learning and practicing under an expert spiritual master's guidance. This sounds contradictory. How she can get to a high-level position without going through the recommended scientific process, devotion, and still be able to manage, get in a high position. If she can get to that level by having an inimical attitude, then one can ask why devotees should work so hard to get to the same level of spontaneous devotion. Yeah, that point comes up in the seventh canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Parikshit Maharaj asks about this, and Shukadeva specifically answers that although some people who are directly in Krishna's Leela and think of him inimically and then get benediction from him directly, still it's not devotional service because it's pratikul. It's not favorable. So he says, don't think that that's a way to actually make advancement, is to become inimical towards Krishna. He specifically says that. Some in Krishna's Leela are very fortunate that they come in contact with Krishna, like Shishupal. He was inimical towards Krishna. At the last moment, before his head was cut off, he appreciated Krishna's beauty, and therefore he was liberated. And Putana's contact directly with Krishna, which shows, as the Laghu Bhagavatamrita points out, Rupa Goswami says it's a special feature of Krishna that those who come in contact with him, no matter what their condition of life, they become liberated. But for everybody, the process is to be favorable. And part of being favorable means tadvidi pranipatina, accept the spiritual master, humbly apply your life to the process of Krishna consciousness and so forth. But there are obvious exceptions here, which are extraordinary. So don't try to apply the extraordinary to the ordinary and then generalize it. People do this oftentimes. That's anything. Krishna can do anything. He can liberate anyone, and he does in certain circumstances, but then don't think that applies to you. For instance, there are certain people who don't go to college, don't even finish high school, but then they do something extraordinary in life. Like they start a company, it becomes really effective, and they give a lot of money in charity, and then they get an honorary degree. Have you all heard of this before? There are certain people that have been given honorary degrees in big universities. Like I think Oprah Winfrey got something like that. Maybe Bill Cosby, but I think they took it back from him. Some university gives a degree, and they may not have gone to college. But don't then think, if your parents say, why don't you study, and say, I'm going to be like Oprah Winfrey, I'll just get an honorary degree, and that'll be fine. Don't think like that. I think that I should go through every step because these are exceptional cases. So don't think that I'm going to be one of these exceptional cases and also be killed by Krishna directly by being inimical. So Shukadeva Goswami says, don't do that. So now let's have our Guru Puja. I was requested to join a special meeting at 10. So I'll have the Guru Puja now, and then when we're done, whatever announcements and things, I may have to jump off at 10 o'clock, and unfortunately may miss a few minutes of the last parts of the class. But I thank everybody very much. It's been a really edifying morning here as autumn is coming in, and there's definite churnings going on in the world. And here we are, all cozied up with the holy name, just chanting together and hearing as if there's not a care in the world for us. Narayana parak sarvena kutaschana bibhyati swarga pavarga narakeshu apitur yarta darshana. Market's going up, market's going down, you still make a profit. Prabhupada said that's intelligence. So for devotees, they know the main investment is in hearing and chanting. No matter what's going on around us in the world, we take shelter. Śrī Caitanya-Caritāmṛta, it's so important, isn't it? Isn't it amazing to hear about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And I mean, revisiting these purports where Prabhupada's talking, I mean, his language is so clear and direct and poetical and beautiful. By hearing this regularly, we understand why are we worshiping Lord Chaitanya? And it just gives so much impetus to like dedicate everything to the process of Sankirtan. All the other kind of world literature, so speculative, and especially the crazy goings on in the world nowadays, you know, people screaming at each other, and these kinds of things seem even more become even more marginalized for us when we understand the sublimity of the process of Krishna consciousness given by Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So let's do the Guru Puja, and then we'll have announcements. Namasheshtam manam. Namasheshtam manamapi shachi putramatra sarupam Shirupam tasyagrajam urupari maturim goshtavatim Radhakundam girivaramoho radhika madhavasham Prapto yasya pratityakripaya Shri Gurum tam dasosmi He Guru Jnanadadina Bandho Swanandadata Karunaika Sindho Vrindavana Sinahitavatar Prasida Radha Pranaya Prachar He Dinabandho Karunaika Sindho Kuru Prasadam Mahimanda Budhe Laksha Paradhe Bahupapa Gadhe Tatpada Padme Stumatishta Krishne. I bow down to the beautiful lotus feet of my spiritual master, by whose causeless mercy I have obtained the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the service of the son of Shachi Mata, the association of Srila Surup Damodar, Rupa Goswami and his older brother Sanatan Goswami, the supreme abode of Mathura, the blissful abode of Vrindavan, the divine Radhakund and Govardhan Hill, and the desire within my heart for the loving service of Shri Radhika and Madhava in Vrindavan. O spiritual master, O giver of divine wisdom, O friend of the fallen, you are the giver of your own bliss, and you are the only ocean of mercy. Although dwelling in Vrindavan, you have descended for the welfare of fallen souls like myself, and you are preaching the divine love of Radha for Krishna. Please be kind upon me. O friend of the lowly, O Gurudev, you are the only ocean of mercy. I am a doleful and have committed hundreds of thousands of offenses. I have fallen into a dense myriad of sins. Therefore grace me with your mercy so that my mind may be fixed on your lotus feet and on Sri Krishna. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain to pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one could cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. Our only wish is to have our consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens our darkened eyes and fills our hearts with transcendental knowledge. He is our Lord, birth after birth. From him, ecstatic prema emanates. By him, ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevalabha Kati Sadma Bandam Mui Savadhanam Mate Jahar Prasade Bhai Bhavato Viyajai Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoy te. Guru mukha padma bhakya chitete koriya aikya. Anakori ho mani asha. Shri Guru Charane Rati Eshayu Tamagati. Jai prasade pure sarva asha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Chakudan vido jai janme janme prabhu she. Yagyan vere prakashita. Bhakti ja hoite avidya vinasa jate. Vide gai jahara charita. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhama Janara Bandhu. Lokera Jivana. Lokera Jivana. Ha ha Prabhu Koro Doya Deha More Pada Chaya. Prabhu Kora Doya Deha Mune Padashaya. Hey Bijash Kuchik Tribhuvana. Bijash Kuchik Tribhuvana. Ha ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deham mune parachaya. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jai Jaya Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Gaur Premanande. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschatyarishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chant, chant, Hari Bol. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stotras Shishi Madhabai Charanara Vidya Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stotras Shishi Madhabai Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavini Ki Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gokopina Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Sambheda Bhaktivinoda Ki. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Please forgive me for cutting out early. It was something unavoidable, international, and I'll be missing you all. And have great announcements, wonderful prasadam, and please keep the transcendental vibration going no matter what. Hare Krishna. Good. I see Malini's here, ready to dish it out. See you soon. Hare Krishna.
How long will you be on that call?
I don't know. I have to figure out, the mood of it, who shows up.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Can you hear?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, we can hear you, Malini Mataji. Hare Krishna. Today, there are multiple teams going out on book distribution, and there are 2 teams going in Santa Cruz, and our calling party will continue. And I wanted to share a beautiful picture um, of the facts that we made for India Cash and Carry yesterday. I don't know, Mataji, how should I send you a picture, or how can I share
You can screen share, Mataji.
the screen share? Okay. Let me just see. Okay, 1 second. Can you see, Mataji? I do.
We can see it, Mataji.
You can see it. Okay. Can you see now?
Yes.
Okay. So these are the packs that devotees have made. We made 600 of these. We have nice bag with a bow, and there's a sticker of the India Cash and Carry here, if you can see. And this was designed by Priya Kishori. And we just got a confirmation that another store is also willing to try them. So we're going to try this, and this is all done by Hansapriya. And today we are going out. I mean, Hansapriya is going to try some other stores as well. But there's
Mataji, I have
one
a question.
Oh, go
So
ahead, please.
this is only for cash and carry, or some another store can put their own logo, or is this only this
Yes.
boxes? Okay. Okay.
This is for cash and carry only, but we are designing for other stores also. Priya Kishori made some, and I can share that as well. But there's one
Malini
request.
Mataji,
So,
Malini Mataji, some of the we have approached some of the stores as well with some good results, and we can talk to you about that. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yes,
go ahead,
yes.
share, Mataji.
Yeah. So Vaishnav Sushani Prabhu talked to I'm forgetting the name. Patel brothers, is it? Radhika Prabhu, please keep me honest here.
Yeah.
And was it? Yeah.
Trinetra Mataji.
Trinetra, yes, and then one more. I think it is Patel. And
Yes, Patel brothers.
is it? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And then Shukharupa Mataji reached out to some restaurants, and I can send you the names and the details there. And she also reached out to 7-Eleven.
Mataji, it's 7-Eleven.
Yeah. So she reached out to 7-Eleven also, and she did some restaurants also. So she reached out to some 7-Eleven, and 7-Eleven gave very good response. They said that in 2 days the books were gone, like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then actually Barsha from Barsha Raksha, that duo, she's talking to somebody who owns about 300 gas stations in America. So, and she just asked us to pray, and that's why I'm requesting all of you to pray that the big boss agrees to put it all over US.
Yeah,
I just thought I'll share
thank you.
the news with you.
Thank you so much for
Wow.
sharing the good news, Mataji.
Yeah.
Mataji, there's one request
Mataji.
also for all the devotees that if you're trying any of the stores, we can coordinate, because we just experienced that one store, multiple devotees have approached them, and then he got a bit annoyed. So we should, if you're trying some store, please contact us or coordinate before you go ahead, so that we avoid approaching the same person again and again.
Yes, that makes
So that
perfect
would
sense.
be
We'll keep you posted, Mataji.
Mataji?
Yes.
I just wanted to add regarding the sticker. So on the sticker, if you see, you can advertise to these business owners that they can put their logo and their website on the sticker, so that it also is like, I guess, marketing for them. And people will remember their stores. So if they don't happen to have one, you can ask them to provide that, and we can happily put their logo and website on there. So there's a generic template that if you want to show them the stickers, you can, and Malini Mataji can share that to you.
So this sticker is always, we put it on top of this package, right? Just peel it off and place it there, right?
It's
Yeah,
super
okay.
easy.
It's super easy one. Okay, got it. I think that's
Yeah.
really beautiful.
And it's super easy to print too. So if Malini Mataji, she can share the template with you based on.
Yeah, I was thinking, that would be good to have a
This
look
is
at
good. This is really good because, then each they will see what is in for them. Even,
Yes.
nobody cares about what it is, right? So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
right. Yeah. And
I mean, this is a
Diwali season.
message for Diwali. We could change it to anything if needed. So the template is there, but that could be modified in any way you want.
Yeah.
Malini, if I may.
Yes, Hansapriya, the
Hare Krishna.
entrepreneur. Go
Hare
ahead.
So I think this is wonderful that everyone is approaching it. I also want to emphasize the same point, Malini, that maybe make the central doc so then you all have a visibility to it, and then collectively we can do more. Second thing, the logo and the bag and the wrapper we came up for right now for Diwali, because the Indian store and the people from Indian background, they don't really feel comfortable just sticking the Bhagavad Gita in the bag or even at 7-Eleven or at the restaurant. So this bag kind of doesn't spoil the Bhagavad Gita, which gives them a big clarity that, I'm not offending the book. So that's why it's recommended that if everyone can use the standard packaging, that will help you to do more. And third thing, right now we are just doing for Diwali. So give out as many as we can in Diwali time, and try not to go to next door store, because what would happen, like if you do it India Cash and Carry in Sunnyvale and then you go to Komala Vilas, which is a next door restaurant. So let's try to just be mindful of those. So even if everyone is doing it, just if you have the central dock, there we can go and see that in the same shopping complex, not every store has been approached. I mean, there's nothing wrong in it, but if like India Cash and Carry, they pledge 2,000, and if I give it to Komala Vilas, they will get offended. That I thought that we have already given a commitment, we're going to do it. So let's just be mindful of their sense if they are sensitive to it. And the third thing is, like, once Diwali is over, we will approach this the same design, same pattern. For probably we should do it for Christmas as well. And we just change it to, instead of Happy Diwali, we'll just do it to Happy Holidays. So that way we can keep that in mind too.
Just to add to Hansapriya Mataji's point about the central dock, a lot of devotees might want this template, and it's pretty easy to do, but just to have a centralized location, if in the doc or if it's a form, they can submit the name of the organization, the website, and a link to the logo, then we can easily make this and send you the PDF and where you can print it so that it'll be easy.
Yeah, so I think the central document should definitely have a link to your template, to Priya Kuchuri's template.
What is written in the yellow color? Sorry, the brown color one. What is written? Sorry, pretty small.
It says your logo here.
Oh, okay, so their logo. Okay, got it.
Okay. When you print it and see in in front, it'll be much better.
Okay, got it. Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Also, other thing we should be mindful. I'm sure Malini and Sudha Mataji, you all have thought about it. That because of there is a possibility that the whole flu season will hit the third strike, and we may not be able to go out so much in December. So that's why we should target as much as we can in next 3-4 weeks, and pray that the third wave doesn't hit us hard. But if you can target now, the lesser the push you would have to do in the difficult times.
Yeah.
Anyway, just a thought.
So Malini Mataji, I think if you zoom on that logo, I think there is a typo there for the website of that store, Indian Cash and Carry.
That's their problem, Prabhu. Sorry.
India Cash and
there is extra A, I think there.
Krishna.
Okay.
Okay, I think they will.
That's a good catch. That's a good and a timely catch. Yeah, I think you can always put another sticker on top of it, right?
Yeah, we can. And also now it's more visibility out there, so we can all help to catch each other's things.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for catching that.
Thank you, Prabhu. And there is
Krishna Mataji.
also a, yeah, go ahead, Prabhu.
Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Mataji, I saw the package sticker, very nice, Mataji. So where do you put sticker, Mataji? Outside or inside, Mataji?
Outside, Prabhu.
Why you cannot put it inside, Mataji? Outside means the sticker is removed. So the purpose is people don't know where books coming from in future. Sometimes they refer the book, they come to know that books coming from ISKCON of Silicon Valley. That's why because we are doing very mass distribution, we cannot again to reach the people about our temple name outside. So put it inside, it'll be very, very, very good, Mataji. This is my suggestion. This is why I'm doing that. The smart box, every stickers inside the book.
Prabhu, we did first one with the sticker inside. We didn't want to put the sticker on the cover because it spoils the cover, the main cover. But if you put it inside, the store owners preferred that it has to be visible outside. So
maybe one.
Then we should do two. One our sticker inside, and then we should do
combined one outside, right? Yeah, combined one outside and inside only ours one by default if it goes right. That would be very useful.
Because the books only they keep it long time, Mataji. That's why the temple the future they open the books, they come to know that where is the books coming from. That way we can more popular our temple. Otherwise it's very hard.
Well taken. It's already done. So the India Cash and Carry ones have a stickers inside as well as outside.
Inside and outside, both places, Mataji?
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
And inside has both India Cash and Carry and ISKCON Silicon Valley, or just ISKCON Silicon Valley? The big sticker is inside also?
Actually, this one, we only have it outside. The earlier one, we had it inside. So we have to do both.
Both.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you. And there's also a video made by Manjula Kanta on how to pack these books also. Which
I was trying to figure out whose hands were those.
So, Mataji, do we need inside also the same sticker? I think it probably can be only.
No, we can have ISV sticker inside.
Only, right? Because, because we don't need to put a cash and carry and all that on inside, if it is possible.
That's very good, Mataji. Very good.
Actually, do you know, we should take this, we should take this offline, but actually, maybe Malini will provide something that, the label should be stick properly. It shouldn't be crooked, because everything is a presentation and the reflection of who we are. So this little details is actually going to leave very big impression on their heart. So that's why Malini has this video, Priya is working on logo. So let's try to just follow, because a lot of thought has gone behind it. But I just wanted to just let Malini know they put it in Central Doc, which is available for everyone. So then everyone can pay attention to all the details.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I've seen a lot of my friends these days, they are taking takeout food from Indian restaurants also. Is Indian restaurants also on our list to put these Bhagavad Gitas there?
Prabhu, we can try, but what we saw is that if you have connections, that is better. If you directly go and approach anybody, the managers will not allow you. So first you need to have connections. Please let us know, because we wanted to maintain a central place where who is approaching. We don't want everybody approaching. So we can connect offline, Prabhu, and then we can do it.
And also we don't want to force it, because otherwise it will go down in their garage.
Yeah. And yesterday we went to India Cash and Carry to deliver these boxes. If you see, once the Bhagavad Gitas were packed, we just made them stand. And then we gave it to the store owner in Dianza. And then she put it on the counter directly. So whoever comes, they can just take this as a gift from India Cash and Carry.
Very nice.
Okay. I think any other announcements for Sankirtan anybody wants to make?
Hare Krishna, I just wanted to maybe quickly make Bhakti announcement, if that's okay.
Sure, Prabhu.
I'll quickly share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
So just a quick recap of Bhakti Community. It's an online portal, online community primarily for newcomers. So whenever we give out books, please do share them about Bhakti Community. We have a catalog of program which happens every week from Monday to Sunday, as you can see. And whenever, as I mentioned, whenever you give a new book or whenever you meet a newcomer, please go to bhakticommunity.com/invite newcomer. So this is the URL. A couple of people asked me after last week, what is the URL for the invite? Is bhakticommunity.com/invite-newcomers. And if you go to that, you will see in that there is a Google Doc giving you a sample email, which you can copy paste and send it to them. We currently have a Discover offer for a limited time where any newcomer can explore Bhakti Community for free for 3 months and then decide to enroll, subscribe. In addition, we also have a short program for WhatsApp. In case you want to send message over WhatsApp, you can send a short message as well. And I do want to thank Kautuk Prabhu as he did start sharing at least a few devotees, a few newcomers last week. So he copy pasted, as you can see. He gave an email to Larry last week, as well as he gave it to Sheamus. So you can just copy paste the email and send it to them, and hopefully Krishna inspires them to join Bhakti Community. In addition, we also have cards. I gave I think almost 300 cards to Kautuk Prabhu yesterday, last week, which he is using to send to all the books whenever he's sharing. So this is the front and back. If you need more, please let me know. I can give it to you. And also, Malini Mataji, if these books which we are giving it to all the stores and restaurants, is it possible to maybe put these cards inside the book or somewhere? Of course, we do have the sticker which Bhakti Community I did see. So thank you so much for including the Bhakti Community website on top. But if you can add this card also inside, it like whenever whoever opens, it's a bit attractive, and that it might inspire them to join as well, if that's possible.
Sure, Prabhu, we can try that.
Yeah, or there is also a thought of bookmark, so I can maybe create a bookmark also. So if, along with the book, there is a bookmark which goes, and we can have Bhakti Community on top of it. And lastly, there are a lot of service opportunities across various teams. If anyone is inspired, please do send an email to hi@bhakticommunity.com. And I'll be happy to share more details. We are meeting today afternoon with few other members, but if others are interested, please let us know. And this week we released, like if you go to facebook.com Bhakti Community page, a lot of short gems which are created by the youths who are helping out. So they watch videos of Bhakti Community and create short 2-3 minute gems which are released. So please do like and share them so that your friends and families can also benefit from it. Last week, story of Gajendra was released. It's a very nice story. Please do share story of Gajendra with all your friends and families as well. So just wanted to quickly run through the various opportunities or various activities which is happening on Bhakti Community. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Any other announcement, Malini Mataji or Ashada Mataji?
No,
nothing from my side, Prabhu. Thank you for checking.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining.
Okay, Prasadam prayer, no?
Oh, we can do Jamulus isn't on, so we can't do Jamulus. Should we still do it?
Yes, because we are still going to have Prasadam.
Yes.
Why don't you do it, Nisha?
Sorry, Mataji?
I was saying let's do it.
Okay.
Somebody can.
शारीरा विद्या जाय जो हिंद्रिया का जीवे फले विषय सागरे तामद जीवायति लोभमोहसुदुर्मति ताके जिता कतिन संसारे कृष्ण बरदोयमय कोरी भरे जीव जाय साप्रसादन दिवो भाय से अनमृता पाओ श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ प्रेम ढाको श्री चैतन्य निताय प्रेम ढाको श्री चैतन्य निताय मा प्रसादे गोविंदे नमो ब्रह्मणे वैष्णवे स्वपुण्यवतं राजन् विश्वासो निर्जायते प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरसोपजायते प्रसन्नचित्तस्य अशुभबुद्धिभावः भविष्यति त्वयोक्तभुक्ता सर्गन्धा वासोऽलङ्कारचर्चिता शिस्तभोजिनो दासस् तावमायं जमिमहि भगवत महाप्रसाद की
Yay.
जय।
Thank you. Thank you, Manisha, for broadcasting. I'll take your leave now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams.
Thank you for joining us this morning. We will be ending the live stream shortly and we hope to see you very soon. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Monisha.
Thank you.